2, 1. Welcome, everybody, to today's Practical Business Mystics Spotlight. I'm your host, Terry Wilderman, and I'm also the host of Awaken the Possibilities podcast. It has been quite the journey getting here to you today. Originally, I was supposed to only schedule and interview Elaine. Elaine, just one, Lindsay, and then Elaine Lindsay, and then Gina got her time all messed up. And guess what? She's with us today too. And it was like, you know what? Let's do this. Let's just have fun and do this. Well, when I went to do this, unfortunately, Be Live kicked us off. I don't know if it was Be Live or Facebook. We were off. So we have just spent the last 10 minutes trying to get back on live. So here we are. And instead of just 10, 15 minutes, we'll just go with the flow because that's what this is all about, going with the flow. So I'm going to ask each of you to please introduce yourself and share with the audience why you're a practical business mystic and what is it about your work that is so special. So Elaine, let's start with you.
Well, thank you very much, Terry. I am absolutely thrilled to be here, even more so that I get to be here with Gina, who I already know and am a big fan of. So I get to fangirl here about both Terry and Gina. Woohoo! I am with True Social Media. Our company does integration and optimization of all your online properties. And why that has to do with being a practical business mystic is because I am finally acknowledging, to me, the most important piece of what I do. And that's about getting my client to be in the right mindset, to understand and be congruent about being visible online. Because by the time clients come to me, they may have done some SEO, they may do social media, but they often feel like they're just banging their heads on a wall because it just doesn't seem to up their visibility enough. And that's where I come in because I get to the heart of the matter. Because a lot of people, and I can speak to this because I was the one hiding for such a long time, when you are not congruent, when your heart, your spirit, your physical body is not at one with putting yourself out there and claiming your expertise and leading from your heart, then all the SEO in the world, all the good social media in the world is not going to put you out there front and center. You have to get good with yourself. You have to get it all rolling together so that you can truly integrate everything you do.
Thank you so much, Elaine, and you're so special where alignment is concerned. We'll talk about that a little bit more in just a minute. Gina, can you introduce yourself, please?
My name's Gina Gardner, and my company, Genuinely You, is all about stepping into your power, whether that's as an individual or you as a leader. And the reason that I am a mystic business owner is because all of my work is about consciousness. You know, many people are walking around and they have no idea of their internal power. They're so busy being busy that they don't allow themselves time to tune into their intuition and their inner wisdom. And we're moving into an era of consciousness, and we require very different leaders. Leaders who are prepared in the first instance to lead themselves. And it's interesting the parallel between being a leader within your own company and having to be aligned and authentic in order for your social media to work. And actually, the same principle is true as a leader, that if you are not authentically being the best version of you, then it's going to be very difficult to lead other people, particularly as we move into this new era where old norms are not going to work. It requires people who are ready to step out of their comfort zone, to be ready to understand that change and uncertainty are not to be feared, but to be embraced. And when you do that, there are limitless opportunities for you and those that you work with, if you work together collaboratively, getting the best out of each person. So for me, it's so much about consciousness, both in terms of you as the person and you as the leader.
Now, one of the things that I know both of you, thank you so much for that, Gina. One of the things that I know about both of you is that leadership is at the forefront. And you know, my business name, it's smack right up on the top left there, intuitive leadership. Leadership is necessary whether you are an entrepreneur or whether you are a leader within the workplace itself. And at its core is alignment. So one of the things that has become very what I really realized recently more than ever, and it's simply because I just got off delivering a 5-day challenge called Reigniting Your Business. A lot of the folks who came, they were mostly entrepreneurs, but there were a couple who were leaders within the workplace. They were so unclear on the vision and the mission that they were following. So I'd like for both of you to weigh in on the necessity of vision, which is the emotional side and the foundational piece of a business, and mission, which is more tactile. The vision is the emotional, the energetic, the spiritual, and the intuitive, whereas the mission is more the practical, tactical, and logical, incorporated with the emotional, the spiritual, and the intuitive. So who would like to go first on that one?
I'm happy either way. What would you like to do, Elaine?
I was just going to say to you, I'll tackle mission if you want to tackle vision.
There you go.
Great.
That works.
So having your vision is the equivalent, if you like, of having a lighthouse on the promontory of a rocky shore. It's the knowing what your why is. What is that why, and why is that so important to you? And that then acts as the guiding light. So no matter how turbulent the waters may be, how difficult the currents may be, if your why is positive enough and strong enough, that will keep you going. It keeps you going on those mornings when life is tough and you don't want to get up. It keeps you going through all of the challenges. And as a leader, having that in and of itself is great. But where it really steps into its incredible power is where you are able to share that vision with other people in a way that they can take ownership of. Because then they are truly invested in helping you succeed. And it's when that happens that you really see magic. Because when you then use the combined experience, expertise, enthusiasms of the people who you work with, or your family, if it's because these are leadership for life things, they're not just work related, they work in every context, that then you can really take these things and make them move. The opportunities open themselves in a way that doesn't happen when what's been happening so often is the leader might have a vision-ish, but it's not shared, it's not clear. There's no real understanding of what that why is, and people aren't engaged in it. So in effect, its power is dissipated. It becomes something that's very floppy. But if you have a clear vision and that everything that you do is designed to help you achieve that vision with those people involved, then you can achieve pretty well anything in any circumstance.
Mm-hmm. And that vision is so very important, and it is the emotional piece, and it needs to speak to the people, not only to your employees, but also to the client with whom that you serve and the
Absolutely.
co-work. So it's really important that the leaders within the organization really get buy-in, as you were saying, Gina, on that vision piece, because that becomes the crux of the matter. That becomes what pushes and compels people to really engage and own the vision of the company. But I found, and I'm curious, I'd like to ask you your opinion on this. I have found that a lot of companies lose sight of their vision. And I'll get to mission in a moment, but they lose sight of the vision. Gina, tell me more about what happens when a company loses sight of their vision.
I think we can see evidence around the world of where companies have lost sight of their vision, and what they're chasing are profits.
Yes.
Because in
Thank you.
doing so, what they lose out on is the engagement.
Mhm.
They're often the tactics they use to get to profits becomes very left brain. It's very much driven by data, but not data in the sense of knowing whether that is useful or not. We have these hard targets. We are going to employ any methodology to get there.
Mhm.
People then lose the engagement. They also start to feel less and less motivated because it's not important. They're not going to benefit from the profits. And in fact, they're the ones who are suffering depression, anxiety,
Mhm.
stress, because they're being asked to deliver something that's undeliverable, that they don't believe in. And that with leaders who are either a bullish variety and use
Mhm.
bullying tactics, or they keep changing their mind because they're not clear where they're trying to get to. And people just lose the will to live, really, and think, why should I bother? Because tomorrow they'll have changed their mind to something else. The vision, if you
Mhm.
like, when it's in place and it's one that people engage with, and I absolutely agree, it's for your clients, it's for your society, your environment as well, that when that is clear, then even though you deviate because circumstances have changed, people can understand why that deviation has happened and
Right.
find a powerful and a positive way to navigate that. But
And it's all
without
about communication.
absolutely,
Mhm.
without that vision, you end up with everybody in the fog. Nobody's clear. And one thing that most people struggle with is high levels of uncertainty, and lack of understanding what their role is and feeling that they're not valued. And all of those things are outcomes of no vision or poor vision or poor communication.
Great. Thank you so much, Gina. And Elaine, let's get into the mission part of it with you.
So this is perfect, Gina. You put it all out there, and the fact is that that vision, that why, if it's not congruent throughout the entire corporation or business, then just like in a digital world, when you're not clear, you can't possibly be seen because it's like having a hard drive that's all fragmented. You can't see the whole picture if half the pieces are missing. It
That's
doesn't
right.
make sense. So for me, the mission is actually the application of the vision. It's taking that why and applying it in a way that allows you to not only engage, but allows you to further the cause of your client. It allows you to all be on the same road. You're all heading for the same thing. And even when you have to adapt, like, thank you, 2020, everybody's had to adapt. Being clear on what that vision is just means you're adapting around fitting your why into the current circumstances. And the thing about that kind of a mission that is applying that why, your clients, your employees, everybody, your suppliers, they can buy in because they know exactly what it is you're doing, where you're going. They understand your why. And that gives you higher know, like, and trust factor. It allows them to engage. And that's how you build raving fans. When
Mm,
you help your client to the best possible extent.
Raving fans has been around for a long time, and it's been around for a long time, that specific book, because it works.
Yeah.
When you build raving fans, it's because they feel appreciated. They feel they feel that the service is absolutely superior. And that is part of the mission because the mission is more tactile. And when the employees, the coworkers, whoever it is that is within the organization, it doesn't matter if you're a solo or a business owner with various employees, because solopreneurs have outside contractors. So when your outside contractors also feel valued and appreciated, All of them work together to create a very cohesive space that is in alignment with the values and the mission. So that's something to really consider for those of us who are solopreneurs. A lot of solopreneurs say to themselves, "Oh, I don't have a culture." Oh, yes, you do. You do have a culture. How do you treat your outside contractors? How do you treat your part-time workers? How do you treat those folks who do things sporadically for you? That speaks volumes because in the end, when they're talking about other work that they have done for people and you become part of the mix, you don't know if they're going to be saying, "Oh, stay away from this person. Oh, no, that's a great person to work with." So for solopreneurs, and I'm going to say that because so many entrepreneurs are actually solopreneurs, it is really important that you understand that everything that we're talking about here is for you too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes, go ahead. Yes,
I
I was
I know everybody
sorry,
wants
go
to always call me Lindsay.
Lindsay.
That's what you get for having a first name for a last
Sorry,
name.
sorry about that.
on.
That's okay. Basically, what I wanted to say was the whole concept, your vision, your mission, when everything's well aligned, I like to get super simple because I believe simple works best. And here's my takeaway, my simple of everything. When you know why and you apply, it's not about you, it's about them. Do for them what you would like done for you.
Yeah,
Period. End of sentence.
absolutely. And that
I
goes along with what I say about leadership in the workplace. I always say to leaders, do not ever ask your people to do something that you're not willing to do yourself.
Exactly.
You know?
For me, it's the translation of your core values into the behaviors that exemplify those. And as a leader, you have to model those consistently if you want them from other people. But
Hmm.
so often, the vision, the mission, the values are words on a piece of paper in the handbook or behind the desk. And they're not living and breathing. They're not
Yeah.
part of the daily language that people use. And it's when it becomes part of the very fabric of the day to day and everybody recognizes that. I mean, how often do you hear people talk about excellence? But what does that mean in the context of any particular department or activity? What do we mean by, we care for our customer? If you then, when something goes wrong, that you don't go the extra mile to sort it out in a timely fashion. So these have to be living and breathing. They can't just be something you do once and you put on a poster or in a handbook. They have to become who you are.
Absolutely. And I love how you phrase that, Gina. And I'd like to, one word that you said that I would love to spend a little bit of time on is the word excellence.
Mm.
Because one of the things about excellence is, and I'm going to back up for a moment here. In the workplace, in entrepreneurship, a lot of us often are stuck in the role of perfectionism.
Mhm.
And perfectionism, to me, perfectionism is being in the box.
I
You
agree.
you can't get out of that box. Say, for example, okay, I'm going to use this is the thing for my this is a little case for my ear pods that I use. This is perfect in and of itself. This cannot change. I mean, you can redesign it
Yeah.
later, whatever, but this in and of itself is quote unquote perfect. However, when as leaders, when we are perfect, something that is perfect pushes away innovation, pushes away freedom, pushes pushes away. Try saying that 3 times fast. Pushes
Yeah.
away um, opportunity. And people who are perfectionists often are poor listeners.
Mhm.
However, shift perfectionism to striving for excellence. Excellence gives you all of that. It gives you freedom. It gives you opportunity to really listen well. It gives you opportunity to grow and really raise the bar because with excellence, there is no ceiling. So I would love for the two of you to to talk about it. Yes. Okay, Elaine, go for it.
Okay. And I want to say the difference between perfectionism, which in all honesty, I believe does not exist.
I would agree.
Okay. If humans were perfect, there'd be two of them, period. End of sentence. That's my attitude. I believe striving for excellence is perfect in its own way, perfectly imperfect, because in striving for excellence, guess what? I can fail. Okay, I can fail, but how I fail, and I have a wonderful friend, Nerjadine, who coined the phrase, have a failabration. When you
I like
fail,
the celebration.
and if it is with a client or a supplier or an employee, you have to own up, fess up to that mistake, that error, whatever it is, and go that extra mile to fix it because you're still striving for excellence, even when you failibrate beautifully.
Celebrate. Oh, I love that. That's so much fun.
I think there is a, I like your container analogy. I would say if you imagine that you're a koi carp and you're in a fishbowl, you are constrained by the exterior of the fishbowl. The only thing you can work with is what's in that bowl.
Yeah.
What many people do is they think that that then they will move into a bigger tank, and that tank will solve all of their problems. But in reality, koi carp, and this is a very mixed metaphor because they don't live in the sea, but koi carp grow in size according to the size of their container. So if you imagine that koi carp could live in salt water, the idea is to be in the ocean, because then you can actually develop and grow in direct proportion to how much you're prepared to move out of your comfort zone. And for me, I think there are two things that need to be said about excellence within the context of a company or a business. We each, if we were asked to give a definition of excellence in a particular context, are likely to have a slightly different, I suspect we three are probably closer than most, but we will still have a slightly different interpretation of what excellence looks like, feels like, sounds like in terms of the circumstance. But where the real power happens is when an organization, the people within it, have that ongoing conversation about what's the difference between good and excellent in the context of this particular activity? Where are we? Are we at good or are we at excellent? Well, today's excellent is now the foundation for tomorrow's excellence, which is actually moved on. So we talk about being our best self, and many people talk about that as if that's you get there and it's done. But it's a
It's not.
lifetime.
Oh,
Time excellence or your best self becomes, if you like, the launch pad for that next development. And I think the danger of people who, my sense check is that people who are stuck in that that jail of perfectionism, which often leads to procrastination or the need to be seen to be right and not being prepared to look
yeah.
beyond, is that they lack self-confidence and they are fearful of change and uncertainty, because what they're trying to do is to control things in the illusion that it's controllable.
Yes. Yes.
But
Well,
actually it isn't. And so it is very much a frame of mind which says we're going to strive to be the best we can be and be honest, not brutal, but honest, and then move on from there and continue to evolve as we grow.
well, I would like to use what happened today with the three of us as an example
Perfect, it is.
of confidence and stepping out. Elaine, I was supposed to interview you at noon.
Yeah.
Gina, I was supposed to interview you at 2. I'm talking with Gina. We're having a heck of a, not with Gina, with Elaine, having a heck of a time getting uh, the software to work properly. All of a sudden, Gina pops in. I'm like, what's Gina doing here? She's not doing it for 2 hours. And suddenly, we couldn't get everything to work right on Facebook. It would not go live. It just would not. So what you were talking about, Gina, is in the container of perfectionism. I could have said, Elaine, you're on for noon, and I'm sticking with you at noon, and we're going to do a separate show. And Gina, you're on at 2, and you can come back at 2 o'clock. However, when we begin to trust, and by the way, this is the card that I pulled about 15 minutes ago in regards to where we're going. And this is from Archangel Michael. And the card is have
I
confidence.
got him today.
Okay. So in having confidence, there you go. Okay. I have confidence in my skill sets to be able to. I quickly went into Canva, I rearranged the meme, and guess what? The three of us stayed on. I was able to rearrange everything, and I had confidence because inside I said, everything goes right for me. This is happening for a reason. And that's the question, or that's the mindset that I believe is very powerful for great leaders to understand is that when things happen, instead of looking at what's wrong with the matter, look at what's right with the matter. We are having a fantastic conversation about leadership in business. We are talking about mindset. We're talking about confidence. We're talking about perfectionism. We're talking about flexibility. We're talking about koi and growing. We're talking about a lot of different things that relate to leadership. And the three of us together would not have happened if I got stuck in my perfectionist mindset that I had to work with Elaine at this time and I had to work with Gina at this time. Instead, it was as if the universe said, Hawk Mother, bring it all together. And we did. And we're having a fantastic time. So I think it's really important that as practical business mystics, we listen to these intuitive hits, these intuitive opportunities that come. So I would love for the two of you to talk about intuition as a practical business mystics, because that's basically what happened here. I listened to my intuition to bring us both together. Little did I know that the two of you knew each other, even though you're part of my group, okay? Which is just a wonderful thing. So, uh, Elaine, I'd like to start with you first. Can you talk about intuition, being a practical business mystic, and how it works with visibility with social media?
Well, absolutely, absolutely. And I will say that the first thing I said when you said Gina, I said, Gina who? And then I said, oh, yay, I haven't seen her in a while.
No, it's been a while, isn't it?
I absolutely love when these types of things come together because intuitively, when we pay attention, we can only excel at what's going on when we take into account, and again, and anybody who knows me, I cannot go a full paragraph without using the word integrate, I swear. But it's about integrating the intuition you feel with the plans that you have and the people that are around you. And when you know and trust that things are going to work out the best they should or could, then it absolutely makes sense. And you get to a place when you really understand intuition. And when you are a business mystic, intuition's like having the best executive assistant in the world. Because if you come to rely on that feeling, it can propel you forward. It can keep you from having to have too many celebrations at once.
That's absolutely right. What about you, Gina? What is your perception of all of that?
I believe that intuition is a very, very vital part of successful business. And for me, it's part of communication. You know, we talk about communicating with other people and how important it is that that's two-way, that's informed, and so on. But actually, intuition, I think, is the really vital communication with ourselves. And I think many people are so busy that they don't give themselves time to be quiet and reflect. So if you look at someone like Warren Buffett, who I believe is worth £75 billion at the moment, he talks about a situation in his early business life where he failed to listen to his intuition and it cost him $1 billion.
Mm.
Richard Branson, who to all intents and purposes, again, a very highly successful business person, he talks about using his intuition, not instead of data, but he uses his intuition to ask the question, have I got enough data? Have I got the right data? Do I need a different sort of data? Does this feel right? There's more and more evidence that the way our brains work, the coherence between our left brain and our right brain, left brain very logical, very data logical driven, right brain relationships, the capacity to deal with difference. Left brain only wants either or. Right brain looks at uncertainty and difference and is able to manipulate and manage that. And for me, intuition is where is the bridge that allows us to see beyond anything that is concrete and evident. And ultimately, if you ignore your intuition, you are likely to go very badly wrong. But I think it's important that we start to learn not only how to give ourselves the space to do it, and for some that will be meditation, for others that will be going for a run or gardening or listening to music. It's finding out what works for you. But it's also trying it out with small things. I do suggest you don't try your intuition on $1 million the first time. Probably not a good thing to do.
Yeah.
But you try it out, you test it, and then you get to know. For some, it'll be we talk about that gut feeling. For others, it'll be a voice in their head. For me, it's a knowing, a sense of when something feels heavy, I know to take notice and I know to beware. When something feels light and it works easily, there's grace to it, then I know that my intuition is serving me well.
So you're clairsentient and claircognizant. Got it.
I don't see, I don't hear, I just know. And ultimately, each person's got to experiment and find their way, because it's different for us all, isn't it? And there's no right or wrong. And I think that's one of the biggest developments for me as a mystic business owner, is recognizing that I've had to find my way and own it and not be, comparatonitis, I think is another virus that doesn't all no good at all.
What a great word, comparatonitis. Love it.
And I can remember going to a spiritual weekend and having a terrible attack of comparatonitis because people could see Indians with headdresses on horses, and I saw grey fog. I'm very good at grey fog.
Love it.
And recognizing that actually I just get a knowing. So for me, my advice to anyone listening to this is start to make friends with your intuition, start to develop it, and allow yourself an opportunity to try it on for size, because until you can trust it, it takes a bit of time, doesn't it, and a bit of finding out what's indigestion and what's truly a gut feeling that's serving you well.
Right. Well, as you see, I sit, I have my angels on this side.
Yeah.
I have my left brain books on this side, and I sit right smack in the middle because I do that is my passion. I teach leaders and entrepreneurs, specifically entrepreneurs. I really love working with the entrepreneurial sector. I teach leaders and entrepreneurs how to integrate the practical, tactical, and logical with the emotional, the energetic, the spiritual, and the intuitive. Because when you do work on all cylinders with your divine gifts, instead of running away from them, you do become a powerhouse. You can become an incredibly influential, positive leader. You can do things that you can't do with just logic and practicality alone. And when we stop running away from those intuitive hits that we get, and instead begin to embrace them, life can actually become so much easier and so much sweeter. It really is important that we learn how to do that. So I would love for you, Lindsay. Lindsay, we go again. We know what it is. I got your name, Elaine, right in front. Sorry, Elaine. Can you please share with the audience how they can reach you?
Absolutely, Wilderman. I will do that right away. Uh, for one, as people can see, I am an incredibly serious human being who takes everything so seriously. Never. Uh, I have to walk my walk. So you can simply look up Elaine Lindsay on the internet. I guarantee you'll find me. And I look just like this. The pictures you'll find are going to be me at currently 64, almost 65 years of age. So there's no fooling. You're not going to find any odd pictures from a gazillion years ago. I don't do that. Or you can go to my website, which is Trool, Trool, social media. And the
Wait,
website
wait,
is
wait, wait, at the bottom here.
social.com.
It's right there. TROOLSO.
Yeah. But
It's
you
right
just
here.
need truelsocial.com to get to the website. But if you just look it up on Google, it will also come up. You'll be able to find us. Any social media out there.
Right. And 65 is a wonderful age.
Oh, I'm sure it's going to be.
And it is. It is. Trust me, I'm 65. It is a
All
phenomenal.
right.
There we go. Gina, tell us about how folks can reach you.
I just want to say to you that you two are two spring chickens. I'm 67. So aren't we a great adverts for people in their sixth decade? It's the new 40.
Absolutely.
It's the new 40. You can find
Absolutely.
me at genuinely-you.com. If you want to contact me, it's Gina at genuinely-you.com. I'm on YouTube. Again, it's Genuinely You with Gina Gardner. LinkedIn, Facebook, all of those places. Love you to subscribe. Come and say hi would be great. Thank you very much.
Brilliant. And I like to share with the audience that if intuition is something that you would really love to learn more about, on October 26th, I am doing a 1 day workshop called Activate Your Inner CEO, Easy Decision Making for Entrepreneurs and Leaders. And
Wow.
in that 1 day workshop, you are going to learn all kinds of fun, intuitive tools to assist you to amplify what you already have, make it deep, make it wide, and to help you make great decisions and have a lot of fun doing it. It also includes 2 bonus sessions. So if you go to activateyourinnerceo.com, I would love to have you have a seat and enjoy the fruits of your divine wisdom. So thank you so much for being here today in Practical Business Mystic Spotlight. Thank you to Elaine and to Gina for playing with me and making this all come together so easily and effortlessly because we listen to our intuition. So until next time, we wish you so much success in mind, body, and spirit. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.